So by now, hopefully a lot of you have actually gone and seen Elysium, and if you haven't, definitely go check it out. We need to support Neil Blomkamp so we get a lot more of his, science fiction movies. If you haven't seen it, this is going to be completely spoiler-filled, so if you haven't seen the movie, definitely go check it out. Come back, we'll be here, ready to ruin everything for you. But let's go ahead and get into it. I'm joined once again by Luis Rivera, as always, who never, ever leaves. He's always here.
Supposed to be someone else here, but
yeah, well,
said he was sick.
I voted immigration finally caught up to him.
Such a racist.
But let's go ahead and get into it. You saw my review of Elysium. I gave it an 8 out of 10. What were some of the highs and lows, and what would be like an overall score that you would give the movie?
I feel weird always having to come on here and give a score, because it's feel like every time I've been on here I've reviewed like a movie that I fucking love, and now
that just means we have good taste as far as these episodes go. Each month we get a good movie.
But it's weird. Like, it would seem like me and you only agree on movies like that we've seen, but outside of these movies that we watched, we don't agree on anything.
There's a reason these are the only movies that we do this episode for, because there'd be nothing but conflict.
Every time. I mean, it's so odd, but I really enjoyed this movie, man. I really liked it. Really, I'd give it another 10.
You give it a 10. Wow, that's great. I'm happy. I'm happy at the fact that all the we've got 3 10s in a row from you.
I know. Which is rare, because every time we talk about movies, I'm always the one person who's always like, I didn't like it.
You've like nitpicked something about it.
Yeah,
and now I'm the nitpicker. How does that happen?
I don't know. Like, the last 3 movies we've done on this show so far,
you know what's gonna suck is when we do our like end of the year review thing, and you're like, I don't know, they're all 10s. Just want to give them all awards.
But I just want to specify, I'm not saying the movies are perfect. I'm saying they're 10s to me, because.
Well, yeah, I mean it's all personal opinion.
Yeah, because like Pacific Rim had its things that I really love, but there's things about Pacific Rim that I know aren't great and it has its problems.
Go watch the last month's episode where me and Jose essentially tear it down, and Lois is sitting there like, no, it's all great.
But I know that. I understand. I know that it has its problems, and then Man of Steel has its problems also, and
there's nothing wrong with Man of Steel.
There's some things wrong with Man of Steel, but still, I loved it. I enjoyed it. All 3 of these movies I've had fun with at the theater.
Yeah. That's what's really great to me is all these movies. We've actually had fun watching them. It's not like we're just watching them to do like a review or to talk about it. Like, we actually had a good time with it.
I think what I love so much about Elysium, though, is that it's a big budget science fiction flick that opens up where they're speaking in Spanish. It's subtitled. The opening of a big budget science fiction movie, Of course, there's Matt Damon, who I thought was really great in this.
I thought he did a good job too.
And I thought it was like, wow, and then when the violence kicks in.
Oh, like, we're gonna get to one of those parts there.
To me, I'm just like, I was sitting there watching it. I'm just like, wow, how did this even get made? Parts of me were just like, wow, this. You don't really get to see stuff like this.
Well, that
theater with this kind of budget.
Yeah, that's the fantastic thing about Blomkamp, though, is that he says he really only wants to do his original stuff. He doesn't want to adapt anything, and that's why you get that kind of originality, that vision, like you said, where we're in the year 2154, and Spanish is known by everyone. It kind of reminded me of like Firefly and Serenity, where like you had everyone speaks English, but everyone also speaks Chinese because that's just the way that the global economy went. Everyone had to know that language, and everyone had to know English. But yeah, there's a lot of this movie was literally oozing with originality as far as I was concerned. I mean, the sheer level of imagination involved with this movie was fantastic.
There was some really great stuff going on visually with the cars and the city.
The robots.
The robots, yeah.
The robots were unbelievable. I especially love that that everyone interacts with the robots as they would interact with humans. Like when the police robots are like, shaking everyone down in line. He actually talks to them like he would actually talk to an officer, like, oh, just screwing off with them. And then his parole officer is one of those little automated robot guys that looks like the fortune teller.
It kind of reminded me of the taxi cab driver from Total Recall.
Exactly. Looked like him too. Kind of sounded that way.
Yeah.
But what did you think about the story, like the overall arcing story?
It was good. I mean, it had problems, but maybe a little too on the nose at times it felt, but it was serviceable for what was we were all really there to see, I mean, not really all everybody see, but the visuals for it and everything, Blomkamp just took it to another level with all that, and the story was interesting. I mean, I'm not like blown away like, oh wow, it was an incredible story. He told something amazing, but
it was a surprisingly simplistic storyline.
Yeah, and just like the whole relationship thing. I'm just glad he didn't try to shoehorn in that the little girl was his daughter or something that he never told out.
Yeah, I don't think there was any way that was gonna happen.
I was afraid that was gonna happen at one point. He was gonna be like, she's your daughter, and you're like,
you are the hippo.
Yeah. Unless it is, and we did.
And they
we just went over our heads, and we were just like.
If it went over our heads, it went over our heads so far that really nobody got it, because I mean, if anyone's gonna catch on to it, it'd probably be, these two guys right here.
But yeah, it was okay.
Like you said, it was really on the nose with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like in my review, I talked about how District 9 was kind of like it had a real subtle kind of immigration storyline. This one was so on the nose about the separation of classes. I mean, literally everyone living on Earth is living in squalor, just working to make sure that I cannot remember the actor's name, but the boss at Max's plant, where he's walking around with a handkerchief saying "Don't breathe on me."
Yeah, the guy who got the Joker.
Yeah.
Grenade in his mouth. Yeah, that was that's something I really like. Every person who lived on Elysium was portrayed as an asshole, pretty much.
Exactly. I mean, everyone was. They were like, they
knew
they were better.
Yeah, don't breathe on it. Like, wow, really? I would have liked to see a little more depth to those characters, but
more humanity at least.
And you didn't get that. I guess he was just really punching home the idea of like they're better than us.
Yeah. And I like the fact that he classifies pretty much all of humanity as the rest of us live on Earth, while the very few elites live on Elysium. Which the overall Elysium, the space station itself, I thought was really, really cool. Like, it was actually surprisingly realistic, except for the fact that like the ships flying in from space could just like go right in.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand that part, but the thing about the actual space station Elysium is, and I this is going to be something more for gamers, but did it remind you of the Citadel in Mass Effect, like, at all? Because that's all I could picture was like, you have this curvature thing where like everyone's living on different...
Now that you say that, yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm the only one who noticed it right off, but...
Prior, no, I didn't even think about it, because I was just so into the movie, I guess. I was just like, literally just enjoying the movie, just watching it, not... Most times when I have a problem with watching movies, like, I know you hear from me, like, everybody else, like, I'm just like, why would they shoot it this way?
Yeah.
Like, what was wrong with the lighting there? And I start taking apart
slowly it's breaking
level.
down.
I was like, why would they cut like that? Who edited this? Why would they edit it this way? But that's just personal. But this one I didn't even think about. It was just like eyes locked on the screen, just enjoying it.
Yeah, and that's one of the really great things is that you don't actually break that concentration. Like, the visuals alone are just, it's so well put together, and there's such an aesthetic to it that it just, you can't help but be amazed by what you're actually seeing.
Yeah.
But going back to the story, the whole thing of like him getting poisoned by the radiation and everything, and the thing of it is like, he's trying so hard to turn his life around, and he's trying so hard to keep that job, and then the boss just comes in, and he essentially gets radiation poisoning because his boss is a dick.
There's another asshole, right? There.
His boss isn't even one of the Elysium elites.
Apparently
He's just the supervisor.
Is an asshole. An asshole, thief, or gangster.
Well, that's
right?
the thing, is like the thieves are the nice guys. The ones who steal the cars and like steal from everybody. They're the nice ones. They're the ones that, you know, like, we're gonna stick together, man. But the thing that I liked was that the doctor was actually just a robot.
Yeah.
Like, they sent him in to get him out, and then it's like, oh, here's some medication, you're gonna be dead. Which, I don't know, like, it's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like, maybe that's just like the workman's comp doctor, because they actually have the hospital with the nurses and everything like that where he goes originally. But, I don't know.
I thought that was, like, in the future, like, you got all those robots, and his boss is just like, go in there and move it. It's like a robot couldn't just hold the door open and then you move it.
Well, yeah, why couldn't he open the door again? Like, why was it just like,
yeah,
he couldn't reopen the door, he had to actually go in there?
Yeah, that was the one thing I was like,
well, the other thing, like,
you gotta get somewhere.
Well, the thing to me, too, is like, he tried to, Blomkamp, he tried to put this kind of relationship and this whole dream of going to Elysium from the time that he was a kid, and like, you know, that apparently he was in love with, was it Freya? Frey, ever since he was a kid, and then he gets reintroduced, but I kind of felt like she was underused. Like, she just kind of shoehorned in, and it's like, we really need to save, you know, my daughter. Like, of course her daughter has some incurable disease that can only be fixed on Elysium. But,
how convenient.
yeah, but, I mean, the thing with him, whenever, like, he goes to get help from her, and the daughter's talking to her, it's like, okay, yeah, of course the daughter's gonna, like, change his heart. I kind of like the fact that at first he was like, screw this, and he still walks out, like, I can't do anything for you, because it's one of those things where, like, oh, the cute little girl tells this story, and it, like, warms his heart. It's like, yeah, I'll save you. No, there's nothing I can do. Like, he still has that whole plan to get up to Elysium.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was interesting, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of makes it hard to root for him.
Oh, yeah. Done so many times. That's why I'm just like, the story was serviceable. I guess. You know, you've seen that story plenty of times. You've read it in comic books plenty of times.
Yeah. Let's, I want to talk a little bit about the ending whenever he actually gets up to Elysium. Mm-hmm. I mean, when they have the part where he uses the grenade to get onto the ship, and then the grenade explodes, and it takes Charlton Copley's face clean off. Yeah. Because I kept thinking, you still got to have, like, some kind of showdown with Copley. Yeah. Like, he's dead now?
I'd see, and that's where the story bugged me a bit. Like, they brought him back to life. I was like, really?
Because his brain was intact? Come on.
Yeah, I was like, that'd have been awesome if that was the showdown, and then he had to fight these two other dudes instead, you know?
Oh, man, he
whooped
their ass.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like, Copley is, like, the badass. He's like, he's the opposite of Max. He's his wall that he has to get through.
Yeah.
But still, that moment when he just kicks the grenade and it just goes off in his face, and you're just like, holy shit, I didn't expect that to happen. You were expecting a showdown between these two guys.
Yeah, I mean,
and then that happens, and you're like, awesome. That makes me love this movie way more. But then it goes to like, oh, we're just gonna bring him back to life. And it's like, then
like, oh yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah, but then it kind of like that idea of like where anybody dies. It's almost like in comic books. When somebody dies, there is no weight to it because it's like, oh, they're just gonna come right back in a few issues later.
Yeah, it took away.
And that's what took away from Jodie Foster's too to me. It's like, doesn't matter. Someone throw her ass back on the medical bay and boom, she's back to life.
Well, that was kind of the other
Maybe
problem.
I'm missing something that
no, I had a problem. I had a problem too with that because like I kept expecting the grenade to have killed one of his henchmen. Yeah. Like I kept looking to see like, okay, maybe I didn't see the face clear enough, and maybe it was actually one of the other guys, like one of the non-important characters. But then they break off and they start fighting Matt Damon, and then they go off and get Frey and her daughter and everything. And then they bring Copley in and just plop him down. It was kind of cool watching his face be rebuilt, but at the same time, it's like, really? I mean, just really?
Yeah.
But the whole thing of him getting that program because Jodie Foster's character wanted to have kind of like this coup to take over so that she could just keep people locked out instead of, we capture him, we send him home. No, I just want to fucking kill them all.
Yeah.
That was like her thought process. She wasn't really that enticing of a villain to me.
I mean, yeah, she, like already said, like, everybody who was bad was bad. There's no gray in this film at all.
Even the president.
Yeah, like, it's like, it was like essentially good versus evil, and there was no in the middle.
It was too black and white.
And it was like, there was no real tension, I guess, or anything. You're just like, oh, well, maybe there's reasons why we want to root for Jodie Foster to keep people off of Elysium, or maybe there's reasons why we want Max to come. I will say though, Jodie Foster was rocking the shit out of that skirt though.
You have a MILF fetish.
I'm just saying, Jodie Foster. Everyone.
I didn't like her character, and I didn't like that stupid accent that she had. I don't know what dialect that was supposed to be, but that just kind of took me out of it. You can have as many crushes on her as you want. She's playing an entirely different ball field. So
I'm just saying. I mean, I enjoy it. I don't understand. Everyone really, every time I meet someone who talks about Jodie Foster, they're just like, I hate Jodie Foster. I'm like,
I don't hate her. I just didn't like her in this one.
I think she's a great actress.
She's a good actress. I mean, she's been doing this since she was a kid.
Even back in the day, if a Wonder Woman film would have happened, I think she would have been a great Wonder Woman back in the day.
Not anymore.
No, of course.
Maybe she could be like the chief of like the Amazonians or something like that.
Yeah, it'd still be cool to see her.
You just want to see her rocking like the grass skirt or something.
She has a really great, strong presence about her. You can feel that strength. She can just play it off with her face. Like she just gives these strong looks, and you're just like, wow.
Yeah. She does have a commanding presence.
Yeah, exactly. Commanding presence. That's what she has, and
I think she was underutilized in this movie.
Not underutilized, just that not well written. I don't think. It's just these characters are just okay. You're bad. You're bad. That's it. There's nothing else to you.
Yeah, like Matt Damon, his character had those kind of multiple layers, and actually so did a lot of the thieves and the guys trying to get up to Elysium. They had more layers than the actual bad guys. But I did love Charlton Copley as Kruger. I mean, he was fantastic as just this absolutely sadistic guy. Where at the very beginning, when you're first introduced to him, he's just like, "Okay, I'll do this mission." And he like shoots down the ships, and then he just gets progressively darker as it goes on, and the whole thing where he's like sniffing Frey, and I mean. He was a very disturbing character.
See, that was another character I had kind of a problem with too. Because I guess I just had a problem with every character in this film. Just
still give it a 10.
Yeah, I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it, even though of all of its faults. I still enjoyed this movie. I understand, but like Kruger's character, I was really hoping there was another side to him. Like you find out the reason he's so fucked up and messed up or something is maybe he has a family in Elysium that he's doing all this for or something.
Or something happened.
Something happened or something. No, this dude's just fucked up, really fucked up, And when they name off all the things, you're just like, well, what are the worst things we can name off? Oh, murder, rape, theft, everything you can think of. The worst things possible.
Essentially everything that would get people like, the chair nowadays. Like, let's put him in military service and give him access to high quality weapons.
Yeah. It was strange, yeah, but that was another character. I enjoyed what Charlotte Copley brought to Kruger. Like,
oh yeah,
because
I love anything that guy.
What he did in District 9 was just a total opposite of what he did here, and that was great to see him really play a villain. Instead of being that everyday guy and trying to be the hero. Like I enjoy seeing Matt Damon play that. We've seen him do it already plenty of times. Which, from what I've read before, originally he wanted Eminem.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that one.
Honestly,
it wasn't until I actually read that where he wanted Eminem to play the part of Max, where I was like, huh. That actually wouldn't have been that bad. I mean, he was damn good in 8 Mile. Yeah. So, I don't know. But he wouldn't film in, like, Detroit or something.
He wanted to film in Detroit.
Which, it's basically second world there anyway, so no offense. But going back to the story, the ending, where the program that the guy made, where it basically resets all of Elysium so that Jodie Foster can put herself in power.
Yeah.
He put a kill code in there so that as soon as it was uploaded, it would kill him.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would he kill
yeah.
himself? I mean, he's done nothing but try and build his company back up, and make sure he doesn't get sick by making sure no one breathes on him.
Don't breathe on me.
But let me put a self-destruct code in my brain. That didn't really make any sense to me, unless it was something where it's like a security precaution, which they never really made clear if it was, or if he was literally just going to upload it and kill himself.
Once again, this may be something we're totally missing. We were just not smart enough.
Well, it's one of those things where I think it's just, it's a griffin. Where it literally, it's just something so that we can have Matt Damon have that complete character 360 MacGuffin. That's what it is. Because I was gonna say that, but it didn't sound right. So MacGuffin, it's a MacGuffin where it literally is just so that Matt Damon's character can have that complete character 360 at the end, where he sacrifices himself for the good of all the world.
He can have his Jesus moment.
Except he doesn't come back.
Yeah, he doesn't come back.
But
we don't know though.
No, he straight up said, there's no coming back from this.
That's what I thought was like, that's another part that I was just like, really? He was like, if I do this, not even the med bay will save you. I'll be okay.
Charles Copley's face gets, blown off, but let's bring him back to life. But, you upload a computer code. Sorry. We'll make a plaque for you.
Maybe it fries his brain, melts it or something. I don't know.
Apparently that's the only way that the machine can still bring someone back is if the brain is
still
intact.
active, yeah, so.
Which, his face was ripped off. I don't know how it missed,
The brain.
part of his brain. But I want to talk a little bit about the action scene, specifically like the one where they actually go and get the code from the high-class Elysium guy. I wish I could remember his name. But he wasn't in it very long.
Just call it the guy who didn't want to get breathed on.
Call him the breath guy. Yeah. Where they go get the code from the breath guy, and it just sounds so weird. But the droids come out, and they've got those explosive rounds where he fires it. And I loved what Blomkamp did there, where it comes in, and he did it in slow motion, where you actually see it start to rip it apart again and again and again. I thought that. I mean, just watching the droid get ripped to shreds, that was just one of those awesome visual moments where it's like, yes! Yeah. Even though that was one of the big things in the previews, it was still awesome to actually see it on the screen.
Yeah. That's a Blomkamp. I guess he's got the most creative weapons I've ever seen in a film.
And it was an AK. All he did was put different rounds in it.
Yeah. But I didn't get the guy who was shooting without looking, and he killed.
He had some kind of camera or something on his
That's
helmet.
what I was wondering. I didn't get that.
And of course, he ends up shooting the breath guy.
Yeah.
Because he's firing blindly and wildly, which his bullets do absolutely nothing to the droid in the first place. Yeah. So he's just sitting there, basically looking like a little coward. Yeah. But here's the thing I didn't get, towards the end of the fight, whenever Kruger and his crew show up, and they start taking out that guy who was the hacker guy, and the hacker and the doctor, he's got multiple careers. But he starts running and he's shooting at the ship, and Kruger sends out those things that, turn him into red mist. Yeah. The guy with the helmet, I never actually saw what happened to him. Yeah, because they kept talking about, there's still one left, and they were talking about Matt Damon. I never saw what happened to the helmet guy, how he died. Or if he just up and disappeared somehow.
Because I remember they were shooting it, and they're like, where are you going? They shoot him, they miss, and he keeps running. And I'm like...
He kept running, and then he never shows up again.
Oh. Plot hole?
Maybe?
I guess it wasn't really a plot hole, because it not really has anything to do.
It's just like a character, disappeared. Yeah, he got into a firefight, he's like, fuck this, I ain't even coming back. Yeah. But... the original fight with Kruger and Max, where he's used those explosive rounds and Kruger hits that shield, the bullet shield, that was awesome. Yeah. I mean, he's literally just sitting there like that, and it's still almost ripping through.
Yeah, that's that Halo moment.
Oh, I didn't even make that association until I had Mass Effect. You had Halo, and yet we play those games oppositely.
I know, right?
You'd have thought I'd be like, oh, it's that Halo shit.
Yeah, I love Mass Effect. But
one thing I did want to bring up is the camera angles that he used in those fights. Whenever Matt Damon gets out of that car, and he somehow had that camera like hooked to Matt Damon's back, where it literally felt like a video game to me, where he comes around the car.
Yeah,
oh my god, my mind was fucking blown.
Yeah, that was such.
Because I was like, do it again.
Yes. But I think that kind of happens again when him and Charlotte Copley are fighting at the end. When he's standing in front of him, and the camera just whips really fast and then slows down.
Yeah, God, and
it does it again, and you're just like, what? This is incredible.
Dude, like, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. That was some of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that one moment where it's like my brain actually stopped for a second, like, did I just see that? Or did, like...
It seemed like it kind of like when he comes out the car and follows him, it seemed almost like a reverse mount, right? Of the camera. Instead of it being in front of your face, it was. But
it was like so far behind him. It was like, how did they keep it attached to him so perfectly? I mean, the camera work is phenomenal, and the inventiveness of it.
Yeah.
The one thing I did have a problem with though is during the droid fight with the droid that he didn't, explode. He ended up ripping its head off. Whenever they're throwing each other on the car. The hand cam stuff got a little little too shaky to follow what was actually going on, and that was kind of disappointing.
And that kind of happened towards the end too, with Charlotte Copley.
Yeah,
on the bridge.
I mean that was a quick fight, and it was an awesome fight, but I kind of lost track of what was happening a couple of times.
Yeah, that was a part. Yeah.
But man, whenever they do have that fight, whenever he's on Elysium, and he saves Frey from that guy, and he just like throws him across the room.
Yeah.
And then he sees the other guy, picks him up, and throws him at the wall. Yeah. It was just like, this is what I've been wanting to see from that suit. I mean, but the energy gun.
Yeah, that was so.
Oh my god, like that. I know. I normally am very contained when I'm watching a movie in a theater. But when he starts shooting and he just keeps shooting through the wall, and you see that guy's arm get blown off, then his leg, then his arm, then his head, then the rest of his body, I literally was like this, and I go, holy shit! Luckily, no one was around me.
That was a really cool, geeky moment. I was just like, I kind of like turned to Jose and was like, that was fucking awesome, dude. He was like, yeah. That
was, oh my god. This is the thing about Blomkamp that I think makes his movies so... like, just nerd-tastic. I can't think of a better word for it. But like District 9, whenever Charlotte Copley used that gun for the first time, and the guy literally just went, poof.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just like, oh my god, that was so awesome. And he does it again in this one. I mean, granted, the violence seems a bit more toned down compared to District 9 with, the people and the pigs being blown apart.
Yeah. But
at the same time, I mean, it's still fantastic.
Jack Burton LSG is online.
At some point, we're going to try and actually have him on an episode. We'll see how that goes.
Why? Why?
Not for this movie.
Yeah, but I think that's what's great about Blomkamp. Somehow, you watch all these other movies who try to make really cool guns, and you're like, oh, that was pretty cool, Like Hellboy has the big gun,
Yeah.
It's cool, but me, I'm just like, oh, whatever, But Blomkamp makes good guns, and they seem real. Like, it's a possibility that those could be real, and the way he grounds them in reality and stuff, and it's just like, wow, it just makes them so much more cooler than what they should be.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like I said, like, to take down the ship, to hijack the stuff in the guy's brain, it was a different type of bullet in a shotgun. They brought down an airship with a shotgun, and then they tore a robot apart with explosive rounds.
Yeah. I wonder how many video games Blomkamp's played.
Apparently he's real into Halo. I mean, that's S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Still hoping for that movie. It's not going to happen, but let me dream.
Can't.
Yeah, he's just going to take that away. What wasn't... a little bit about the final fight. Whenever Charlotte Copley gets that suit put on him, the only thing that I saw attached to him was they drilled the thing into his head. The rest of it just seemed to attach to him. Whereas with Matt Damon's, I guess because it was an older version of it, they literally attached it to every part of him.
Yeah, his body.
Which, again, the whole thing of the suit was awesome that Matt Damon had on, and it was even more cool to Charlton Copley.
It's like we're seeing an evolution slowly in movies from Aliens.
The power suit keeps changing.
Yeah.
The power loader is slowly evolving. But they had to attach it literally to his skeleton and everything. But to me, the way that they introduced that they had to attach that to him was very, very ill-conceived. Like, he's standing there, he goes, I need you to do this. And then Matt Damon, like, stumbles. He goes, no, you know what? You're not going to be able to do this. Here, let me attach this to your entire skeleton.
Yeah, well, I think what is it supposed to make his whole body stronger?
No, it enhances everything. He said, like, you know, make you as strong as a droid, everything like that. But it's just the way that it was introduced was kind of subpar to me.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, we've got to get across this plot. So there's this thing.
You know, we need him to be able to actually get up to Elysium and stuff like that. But, I mean, the fight between him and Charlton Copley, you know, you have the regular guy and the military-trained guy, and somehow, of course, the regular guy prevails. But, I mean, the way that he did it was kind of cool. I mean, he, like, literally did this whole flip over him and then ripped the thing out of the back of his head.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of cool because whenever I saw it in the commercials, I thought it was going to be one of those things where he, like, jumps over the side and at least got, like, something around his neck.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. He started throwing him off. And I'm like, well, there's always a med bay around.
Yeah.
But I guess he can't come back from that one, though.
Yeah,
like
that was one of the disappointing things to me is you have such an awesome maniacal character and he just like starts falling and goes.
That's why I thought the first death was incredible. I thought that would have been a great.
Leave him dead.
Yeah, I thought that would have been a great death for that character.
I mean, what would have worked a lot better for me as far as, you know, him having to fight people in power suits is if that was their security. And he was going in and he was killing those people and then, like, you know, he runs out of ammo, of course.
Yeah.
In the amazing and awesome energy weapon.
Yeah.
Which apparently that energy shield can still block it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would have been a lot cooler to me to leave Copley dead because his death was just so dramatic. I mean, you didn't expect it.
Yeah, you weren't.
I mean, literally, you have a character like him, and then you have Matt Damon's character. You know that there's like some kind of final showdown coming, and then his face gets blown off. I mean, leave him dead, and then have the security for Elysium instead of the droids. Have them have the power suits on, and then like he has to fight one of the military-trained guys in the power suit on that bridge. Yeah, on that bridge, like one or two of them. I mean, that would have been a lot cooler to me than, you know, him fighting Copley all over again.
Yeah. I think also, like, just thought of this, but, like, probably maybe the story, like, the first medbay rescue, I think it kind of took away from the last one. With that mom,
with the little
daughter,
girl.
And there was another mom and daughter.
Yeah, because, I mean, that was one of those things where it was very impactful because you see the little girl on the crutches, everything like that, and then you see these ships getting blown apart. Of course, her ship doesn't get blown apart. I mean, that was the thing.
Skills,
yeah, just like, oops.
Yeah. Miss.
It's like, what the hell was wrong with the other pilots? I mean, do you not train these guys?
Right.
But I mean, the thing of it is, whenever that first ship does land on Elysium, and the mom and the little girl make it there, because I mean, it was literally almost a play for play. Whenever, the girl and the dog bust through the window, put her in the med bay, same exact thing the second time, but of course it doesn't work this time.
That's what I don't get. She knows you need an ID tag.
He told her
that
you need an ID tag. I guess it's just she didn't believe it or she didn't want to believe it, something like that. But again, it gave him the opportunity to send them away. It will work this time. I'm gonna have the whole sacrifice thing. I mean, it was kind of cool, but it was kind of predictable. Because like you said, the first thing at the very beginning with the mom and the daughter getting healed, and then they just send them back to Earth. Okay, fine. They got what they wanted. Mm-hmm. So...
Problem solved. That would have been her.
It's like, okay, I'll go peacefully.
Yeah.
She's fine. I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
But... that's the thing is, like, these people, they break into Elysium, and then they break into the houses, and they use the med bay. And then they send them home.
Yeah, like I didn't get that either. Like I was like, is there a prison for them? Is there?
Well, they had a prison there. It was
But
on the
they were
loading bay. It was just a row of cages.
Yeah,
And then they send the ships out. You telling me in this entire enormous, ridiculous-sized space station, they don't have a prison? Like, just to literally punish the people who break onto Elysium, because right now, you get in, you get what you want, and you get sent home.
Yeah.
I guess the punishment to the people on Elysium is, you have to live out your days on Earth.
Yeah. But I'm healed, so...
I can walk again.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems. Like, I didn't understand, like, at the end, too, when they send all the ships to heal everybody, it's like, well, damn, you had that many ships, you could have put in a little plot, like, maybe every 15 years you win a lottery and you get to heal yourself or something.
Yeah, I mean, have something to
Some
keep...
kind of humanity for Elysium.
Yeah, at least, I get that, you want the separation of classes. Even nowadays with the separation of classes, the rich people donate money.
Yeah.
to charities.
They could make this whole thing, like, where it's like, oh...
The whole thing's null and void.
Like, we have a charity going on, and guess what that charity involves? Us sending a ship with these med bays on there.
I mean...
For a week or something, or a day, or whatever it is, to heal a certain amount of people.
That's the thing, though, is like, at the very end, okay, we're going to send out all these ships to heal the people on Earth. Is it everyone on Earth, or are there countries that don't exist anymore? I mean, we never really find anything out outside of Los Angeles, and it seems that that's where all the ships were landing, was in Los Angeles. So, how's the rest of the world faring as far as, how many ships are they actually going to have to be sending out, and how long is it going to take? Mm-hmm. Another thing I questioned at the very beginning is, like, they send the droids out to capture them. How many people have actually gotten to Elysium and hidden out, like started blending in and stuff like that?
Well, didn't they tag them though? Like they didn't have...
Well, they had those fake tags so they could use the med bay thing.
Well, they were pretty fucking dirty on Earth though.
You
walk around fucking...
even if you swim it off, they can smell it on you.
French and German and...
It's some weird combination of all the
You come from Earth and you're like, hey...
¿Qué pasó?
Trying to blend in. What's up? Hey, you're dirty. You haven't showered in days.
Can I have the champagne? Ah, you touched
it! Yeah. It's like, don't breathe on me.
Go.
Yeah, go over. Yeah. So, no,
I mean, when you put it that way, it's really unlikely that anyone is actually kind of sneaking around, like, skulking in the sewers of Elysium. Like, getting up and getting a little crumpet every now and then.
Yeah, a crumpet.
Chemi Dodger. Do you have any final thoughts?
I'm just glad, from what I've heard, is that it's doing well. It's doing well. So I'm just glad to see that Evil Dead, R-rated horror film, did really well. Conjuring, an R-rated horror film, again, did really well. Now we have an R-rated science fiction film on this level that's going to hopefully do really well.
Yeah.
And I hope that says something like, we don't need watered down projects,
Exactly. It doesn't have to be, a lower quality just to make money.
Yeah.
But
I guess that's why there's VOD.
Very good. Very true.
Very good.
But as always, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next month.